Well, we're steaming at full power, I suspect, or near full power, from St. Petersburg to Tallinn, Estonia, where we'll arrive this morning and take our last excursion, shore excursion. It's going to be a lovely day, it looks like so far. The camera started goofing up yesterday, so it may continue to do so, reacting to spots of light by creating a light pattern or horizontal line of that light pattern all the way across the face of the viewfinder. This is our track. Don't see much out there this morning except for occasional ships I saw. There's something way over there. On the horizon somewhere I can see it, but I can't see it in the viewfinder. And then there's what looks like perhaps a ferry boat. The ocean's almost like glass today, or I should say the Baltic Sea. Some kind of land over there. It's interesting, people come in and get up and the first thing they have to have is coffee. They have to have it. It's not even a whim, it's a demand, it's a mandate, it's an obsession for it. We don't need any more people, we're ready to go.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, but I think they will put in some more people.
Uh-huh, okay.
Welcome to Tallinn and Estonia. So I'm Mari, the tour guide, and Veiko is driving the bus. So I'm curious, and also we have Joan from the ship as the escort. So with the two of us, it should be should go all well. And I'm curious about where you are from. Which is located in at the sea, under the trees, so it's very nice to walk around there. And probably you know what your program is. I just repeated that we'll go now to the old town, the upper part of it. Shuttles going from the town to the ship, so if after the tour someone wants to stay a little bit longer in town, 1 hour longer, for example, then we'll make a stop to us somewhere there. We'll pass it on our way back to the boat, to the ship, and then you can get off and spend 1 more hour in the lower part of the town. Now from here you see Fat Margaret. Now our country is then really small, and our nation ranks among the smallest in the world. Altogether there are 1 million Estonians living in the world. Here in Estonia it's the number of us is 900,000, plus there are then about 80,000 living abroad, those who fled to the west under the Second World War. In Estonia the population otherwise generally or totally is 1.4 million people, even a little bit less. So 68% are Estonian, 40 minutes with hydrofoil, 80 kilometers only, and Stockholm and Copenhagen and those towns are not far from us either. Russia has not much access to the sea, only basically there in St. Petersburg and north, but in the north it's nobody goes to the coast from the north, so basically that's not yeah, in 12 in let's say in the early 12th century, as the German merchants started to settle on the coastal areas here, but of course mainly here were living then Estonians. They didn't have a state, organized state or a king. They were living as tribes, and each tribe had their elder. So basically they even were fighting against each other quite often, not realizing that they are the same nation. But when there came a common enemy from another country, then it was sides from the south by the mainland, and from the north from the sea. So from the sea came King Valdemar II with his fleet, and from the south, Estonian peasants organized a really big rebellion, and the Danes didn't manage to solve it themselves. They called to sell their share to Germans for 19,000 silver marks from them in the second half of the 16th century. Then northern Estonia and century. So when the Danes came, they started building a big stone castle. Actually, our town means even the Danish town, because Tallinn, it comes from two words, Tallinn, the Danish town, and that is probably because it was built up by the Danes, and the biggest parts of it. The big town wall, the towers were started to be built then, and the castle. The castle has nicely one tower in each corner. So this one has survived, and the other two have survived partly. This tower is called Tall Herman. It is 150 feet high. It has always our state flag on top. So in the Soviet time, of course, it was a red, and our flag then was like this, as Soviet Union's flag, red with hammer and the sickle, and then waves, because we are at the sea, corporations and societies. That is like German influence. And they founded this flag. They said blue is the sky, black is the soil, and white are the cheeks of Estonian girls. Now, seeing how the weather here is, not much sun. So it probably hasn't come here.
It's a very small country. It reminds me of Estonia.
Which country?
Just this.
Yeah,
So it's an imaginary country.
It's an imaginary country.
I think. Now here used to be a square. Like prayers are flames going up to God. On the crucifix, this lowest part, it is a ship of Christianity. So when you are in there, you are saved. And also you have two options in life, whether you go up, you are a Christian, you go to heaven, or you go to hell.
This is the St. Nevsky Church, which was built here. It's a copy of a Russian church, and it was principally built in this location in order to represent the fact that this is Estonian and this is not German, that this country is owned by them. This is the highest visible point in the town, apparently. Have a look. This is a Bentley in the small town of Tallinn. I'm sorry, in Estonia. I wonder what the value of this vehicle is. Maybe I can find out. It's an Audi, www.audi.ee.
Analog, this and that. I mean, you know,
Half a year with
you don't really.
There were more people there?
She saw you standing there, and she turned around and went back.
Okay.
Hello.
Goes back to the 13th century. It is an old area, but all those old towns, they were devastated by fire. And here also, the last big fire was in 1684. So that's why those wooden houses, they all burnt out. And that's why the houses now, they are from the late 17th or 18th or early 19th century. So it is a lot of classical style and some Baroque style in this area. This white building is the drama school, and here is Valdemar Ponsa, the founder of the drama school and a producer. More than 10, almost 20 privately owned and that means a kind of dome hill or dome head in direct translation, and that is because of this dome church. So the houses here, they were actually winter residences of the nobility, mostly Germans then, but also Danes and Swedes, and who had big manor houses in the countryside, but who thought it's boring to stay there all year round. So they started it in 1229, but then they got into quarrel with the Germans to push them away from this area. So for 7 years. 1238 they came back, got back to church and named it the Virgin Mary's Cathedral. But we know it under the name of... And here your ship is also visible, right? Or behind the green church, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't own that. I just am traveling on it.
Yeah. So it's not yours completely. Yeah. So this is the lower part of the old town. The merchants and handicraftsmen and all kinds of citizens like street sweepers and bakers and smiths, and they all live down there. So among them also Estonians. And we have a saying that the city air makes you free, because Estonians otherwise were those peasants and serfs. But when one Estonian escaped here and hid himself for 1 year, become free people. So this lower part is 2 times bigger than the upper part, and it is surrounded with a town wall. And there is the town hall, the grey one with a Baroque steeple. It's from 1404. One is St. Olaf's Church, which is now a Baptist and evangelical Christian church. You can go up on the top of this white part, and you can see, if you look close, there are maybe even people up there right now. Yeah. So, and across the water to go there and have a view. So, but let us then meet 10:25, then where we decided in front of this souvenir shop. Okay?
An Estonian bathroom underneath the tourist shops. And there's cool air blowing out of there, which is really neat. But this is the upper town where we are. What the purpose of this is for, I don't know.
part of this town wall. As I said, it runs around the lower town. So basically, the lower town comes up here, kind of, with stairs, and from here started then this upper town. So it has, this wall is from the 14th century. In the 16th century, it had most towers, 27 towers. The one you see most far is Kikindaköp, 16th century. So the wall was then 2.35 kilometers long, and most of it has survived, and most of the towers as well. So this Kikindaköp is now a museum of town fortifications, and it has such a funny name because it was built with an open parapet, and the guards on top, they could peep into the kitchens of the lower town. They won the battle. Now we'll go back.
And I think this is the tall Herman Tower up here.
The weapons, they had almost no weapons, so they had to, steal it from the enemy. And they also made, a few trains they covered with sacks of sand, so they could drive, and the bullets didn't get through the walls. So they were really creative, and all the men gradually went to fight, or almost all. A few were fighting on the red side as well, because they thought that now this is not possible, that we will get our own republic, and fighting together with Russians and Chinese and Latvians, the red hunters, as these Latvians were called. But in Estonia, the young schoolboys who were the last classes of gymnasium, they formed their units, and they were very, very brave. So those school units, when they were also successful, those schoolboys, our country, which is named in marble, which is about those schoolboys. Russia, our own army, was 15,000 men only. They died. And then women and children, again there was one more deportation. In that there were mostly women and children who were deported to of collective farms. So we lost, in the Second World War, we lost 200,000 people, and we are just 1 million. We were 1 million. So now we are less than then, but not all were killed. 80,000 then escaped, and about 100,000 then died or were killed in the war, or in the camps in Siberia. Russian working class who had arrived here in the Soviet time, they are living here, and most